Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Jamie Ransley, and welcome to Dylan Jackson Music. This guitar that I'm seen working on here has been a project of mine for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's probably the most special guitar that I've ever had my hands on. It was made by the Harmony Company in Chicago, Illinois in the early 1950s, and it's known as the H44 Stratotone. The Stratotone actually predates the famous Fender Stratocaster by 2 years. This particular guitar was owned by Chris Seaward, who was a friend of my family and the leader of the church youth group when I was a kid growing up in St. Mary's, Ontario, Canada. Chris was in the process of restoring the guitar before his untimely death. On October 1st, 1998, less than a month after his 34th birthday, Chris Seaward was tragically killed by a drunk driver after he had stopped on the highway to help a woman with car troubles. Chris was a devout member of the church, and he was loved by many people. I remember he always had his acoustic guitar at youth group, and I thought he was really cool because he was one of the first people that ever let me mess around with a guitar. After Chris passed, the unfinished guitar ended up with another family friend, Dave McPherson, and for close to 20 years it was left hanging from the rafters of his shop with 4 rusty strings battling extreme temperature changes. Then one day during spring cleanup, Dave's wife Sandy decided it was time for the guitar to go, and she put it to the side of the road. Fortunately, Dave was able to save it before the garbage trucks came, and he passed it on to me knowing I would appreciate it and take care of it. So when I received the guitar, I honestly had no idea what it was, and I went ahead and stripped the paint and sanded it down to the natural wood. Then one day I accidentally came upon a picture of the guitar on the internet, and that's when I found out that I had just stripped the paint off a 70-year-old piece of music history that is sought after by many guitar collectors. The Stratotone has been used by many artists over the years, such as Elvis Presley, Richie Valens, Tom Waits, Robbie Robertson, and Dallas Green, just to name a few. But even though the H44 in its original condition can fetch a pretty penny, this instrument is priceless to me. So in honor of Chris, I set myself on a mission to give the guitar a new life. Something I might have said, please don't forget my past. The future looks bright. I went on the internet search trying to find original parts and found that the original pickup from 1952 by itself was going for $200 to $300. So I decided to put the guitar on the back burner until I could fit it into my budget. Then a few years ago, before the pandemic hit, my buddy Danny came to me with a broken old Supro guitar from the early 1950s that he had found beside a dumpster. The pickup and original 50s wiring was still in working order, and Danny was kind enough to give it to me, not knowing what he was contributing to. Then recently, after having finished the guitar, I was showing Danny some pictures and telling him the story of Chris's tragic death. He stops me and tells me that a friend of his had died the exact same way. Well, it turns out that friend was Chris Seaward, and Danny knew his whole family from their childhood in Newfoundland. So even though the Supro pickup wasn't original, it was from the right time period and it works perfect for this guitar. But what's really cool is that it unknowingly came from one of Chris's childhood friends. A pretty significant coincidence if you ask me. Here I am designing a pickguard to fit the larger pickup, but I was never completely happy with it, so I brought the guitar to my buddy Dave at DVA Customs. With his input along with a few ideas from our friend Kathy, I was able to redesign the pickguard. Then with my template, Dave cut and shaped a piece of hardwood by hand. And once again, he also came through with a gorgeous dark walnut finish. In my humble opinion, I think it looks nicer than when it came from the Chicago factory 70 years ago. As a finishing touch, I wanted to honor Chris by putting his initials on the headstock. All that was left to do was plug it in and see how it sounded. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. If you knew Chris, I'd love to hear your stories. So please leave a comment and hit the subscribe button to get the latest updates on my future videos. Thanks again for watching.